Part 10. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 91. Chapter 091 New Abilities and Buffs, the Targeted Hospital Currency Issuance. There are many things to consider, and there is also the reward system, how much work you do, how much the reward is, what kind of work, these all need to be carefully considered, it's troublesome. With Lin Fan's consent, Zhao Wanqing and Lin Yuya were not tired of being with Lin Fan. They walked aside one after another and discussed while writing with pens and papers. Li Saiqi and Mu Yuqing, who couldn't talk to each other, were left to wait on Lin Fan. Enjoying Li Saiqi's knee pillow and letting Mu Yuqing squeeze his legs, Lin Fan closed his eyes and thought about something. Nowadays, there are two superpowers, magnetic field control and lightning control. In theory, this is enough, but in fact, Lin Fan knows that it is not enough. He has idle points in his hand. More than 20,000 points are really a lot, but compared to 100,000 points, it's really not much. If he wanted to earn 100,000 points, even if he did nothing but kept catching zombies, it would take at least more than half a week, but the problem was that he didn't have that much time now. Will keeping money in your pocket make money? No, the worst option is to put it in the bank and earn interest. The best option is to do business and use money to make money. Lin Fan felt that there were some problems with his previous thinking. The power of 100,000 points was indeed very powerful. Time, space, and speech spirit all sounded grand, but were these effects very effective on him? No, Lin Fan thought. In the short term, he couldn't use those seemingly high-end skills with 100,000 points, so he might as well be more pragmatic and redeem 10,000 points for abilities, and then pass them on to Zhao Yanyan or Li Saiqi. For any woman, the experience of free prostitution is very delicious. The more he thought about it, the more feasible it became. Lin Fan couldn't help but want to redeem the power, but now he had a new question. What power should be exchanged for? While thinking, Lin Fan frowned slightly. Li Saiqi smoothed it with her small hands and said in a soft voice, "My lord, is it uncomfortable to lie down like this?" Lin Fan opened his eyes and moved his head. He couldn't help it, little one. The girl is rich in nutrition, and even if she doesn't a Euro trademark T move her head, she can't a Euro trademark T see Li Saiqi a Euro trademark S entire face. However, Lin Fan has nothing to dissatisfy. It would be better to be bigger. Saiqi, what was your job before the end? Or do you have any special skills? Me. Li Saiqi blinked her big eyes and said without thinking, "My lord, I studied civil engineering before the Doomsday. I am a graduate student at a prestigious university. If I hadn't caught up with the Doomsday, I would have been preparing to study for a doctorate." Lin Fan thought, civil engineering? This is good. This is very good. Now that Suziologo is drawing the design drawings, and Li Saiqi is studying civil engineering, it will be much easier to build houses in the future. He has already decided what to exchange for his next power, which is Earth power. System, exchange it for me for Earth-type abilities. Ding. 10,000 points have been deducted. Congratulations on acquiring the Earth control ability. Do you want to fuse it now? Fusion. I thought silently in my heart, and soon a heavy force suddenly emerged in my body. This force was very small and couldn't be compared with the thunder and lightning power. The Kaki energy slowly circulated in the body, strengthening the body's strength. If we talk about the thunder and lightning power, focusing on destruction, what the earth power is better at is defense. The enhancement of the primary earth power soon disappeared. Lin Fan could feel that the defense power on the surface and even within the body had improved a lot, and the weaker areas had also improved. Much bigger than before. Ding. After the Earth attribute fusion is completed, you will get the passive buff and the protection of the Earth. When you stand on the Earth, the recovery speed of the earth attribute energy in your body will be doubled. As the level of the ability increases, the corresponding gain attributes will be unlocked. Oh! The recovery speed is doubled. This buff made Lin Fan's eyes light up. This buff is amazing. With the energy doubled, wouldn't he be able to use earth attributes unscrupulously? And judging from the system prompt, it seems to be a supernatural power. After leveling up, will there be new buffs? This power is interesting. After tasting the benefits of the new power, Lin Fan was thinking, should he redeem it for another power? ETA Euro trademark SOK to keep more than 10,000 points. Might as well use it and get the maximum benefit. Yan Yan, Ching Ching, what did you study before? It is said that people flock together and birds of a feather flock together. Zhao Yanyan and the three of them should have their own specialties when they come together, right? Zhao Yanyan, who was standing by and ready for orders, heard this. Although she didn't understand what Lin Fan wanted to do, he replied obediently, my lord, before the end of the world, Yanyan was a teacher, but she taught a rather partial subject, botany. I'm a veterinarian holding Lin Fan's leg, Mu Yuqing replied. Botany teacher and veterinarian? After hearing this, Lin Fan thought for a moment and asked, Yanyan, how are you doing with your pointer? What? Pointer? Not understanding what Lin Fan meant, Zhao Yanyan said blankly that, it's okay. I don't like corporal punishment of students. Can you play? Lin Fan asked again. Zhao Yanyan nodded and said bravely, my lord, Yanyan knows how to use it. Whether it is possible or not, since Lin Fan has asked, she must study hard when she is free at home. After receiving Zhao Yanyan's accurate answer, Lin Fan looked at Mu Yuqing at his feet, looking at her intellectual elegance with a stern look, he asked Ching Ching, your veterinarian usually cares for small animals, right? What do you like more? Although she felt strange, Mu Yuqing still answered honestly, my lord, Ching Ching prefers cats. They are furry and look very elegant and noble. Cat, Lin Fan smacked his tongue. He actually liked it too, but he wasn't just a cat. Glancing at Mu Yuqing emphatically, Lin Fan asked the system in his mind system, are there any cat-type powers in the mall? My lord, cats have superpowers. With this superpower, you can become a cat girl. Lin Fan. You've already said it, what did I say? It won my heart. How can it be repaired? There is still a few thousand points left, otherwise Lin Fan will definitely have to exchange for a cat-type power. Then he can point at Mu Yuqing and shout change. This is the dream of many people. But everything has a first come, first served basis. Lita Euro trademark S wait for cat-type abilities. Next time we Euro trademark LL have cat-type abilities. ETA Euro trademark S better to buy plant-type abilities now. System, exchange it for me for plant-type abilities. Ding. After deducting 10,000 points, congratulations on acquiring the plant-type ability. Can you fuse it? Fusion. After the words fell, the rich vitality of life spread in the body, and the cell activity became more active under the feedback of this breath of life. This vitality of life was very strong and constantly strengthened Lin Fan's physique. This strengthening was stronger than just now. The earth energy strengthens himself more thoroughly. Feeling the abundant vitality in his body, Lin Fan feels that even if his heart is exploded, he will not necessarily die, right? As long as he is given time, he can survive. Although the cat-type superpower it is very attractive, but plant-type powers are what Lin Fan needs more now. Plants, what are plants? Flowers, trees, even crops and vegetables are all plants. With plant-type powers, can it shorten the length of vegetables? Or even the growth time of crops? This is just what Lin Fan thought of. After truly obtaining the plant-type superpower, this rich life energy can be used to heal others. If someone is accidentally injured in the future, as long as there is still a Lin Fan who could bring it back to life with all his efforts. In just a few minutes, the number of superpowers changed from the original 2 to the current 4. When they are given to Li Saiqi and Zhao Yanyan in public tomorrow, the new women can also witness his greatness. Lin Fan was happily thinking about tomorrow. Not long after, Lin Yuyu and Zhao Wanqing walked over, rubbing their heads, and got directly into Lin Fan's arms. Seeing the two women's sad faces, Lin Fan felt a little heartbroken. You two don't have to be so anxious. This is not something that happens in a day or two. Don't think about it now. It's getting late and it's time to rest. Zhao Wanqing, who was lying in Lin Fan's arms and was distressed, felt her heart skip a beat. Tonight was the most important night for her. She was originally looking forward to this morning, but when zombies started to be killed later, she forgot about it. Now she's suddenly so nervous. But Lin Fan didn't give her much time to be nervous, or even give her a chance to make excuses. He held her waist and walked back to the room. Lin Yuyu didn't follow her. Today was Zhao Wanqing's important day. It would be better to give her some personal space. Lin Yuyu's 5 senses were very sharp after the enhancement of her powers. Not long after the two entered, she heard a low cry of discomfort. Zhao Yanyan and the others were not much different. The 3 sisters looked at each other. Everyone understood what was going on. As Lin Yuyu expected, she soon heard Zhao Wanqing's helpless call. Lin Yuyu didn't hesitate, got up and walked into the room. She still wanted to help her good sisters when they were in trouble. Looking at Zhao Yanyan and the others, several people returned to the room one after another. Li Yun and the 3 people who had been waiting beside them had a look of envy in their eyes, and they returned to the room together not long after. Lin Yuyu gave them the order that they could go to rest after all the masters in the living room had rested. But remember to have 3 meals on time every day. The lights in the living room were turned off, but every room was still as bright as day. Suziluo was writing hard and working hard to modify the design drawings. Li Yun and the other 2 did not fall asleep for a long time. The lights here were not turned off until midnight. Many people did not sleep tonight. 5 kilometers due north of the hospital, several figures on a tall building looked at the hospital. One of them was observing the hospital with a sniper scope. For a long time, the figure observing with the sniper scope raised his head, revealing a face that couldn't be more ordinary, so ordinary that if you throw it into a crowd, you won't look at it a second time, and you will even forget what the other person looks like in the blink of an eye. Appearance: the average young man is not tall, about 1.7 meters tall, with a crew cut. No matter where you look at him, he looks too ordinary. If it weren't for the anti-material sniper rifle in his arms, he wouldn't be worthy of any attention at all. "Hi, how are you? What did you see?" The name of ordinary young people is Ahai. After hearing the inquiry from the middle-aged man next to him, Ahai said, "Godfather, I didn't see anything useful. I only saw a group of women. I don't know what they were talking about in the dormitory building." "A group of women?" Wang Kui was stunned for a moment and repeated, "A group of women, are they all women?" "No man." Aha shook his head, "I didn't see any men, only traces of women. There were a lot of them, probably several hundred. It seemed like an organization composed of women." After Wang Kui heard this, a flash of disdain flashed in his eyes. "Another all-female force? Like the stinky woman next door? How brave they are to hang up such a big light so blatantly that others want a Euro trademark to know their location, haha. Interesting. Ahai, have you seen what weapons they have?" Ah. Hai recalled it for a moment, frowned and said uncertainly, "I saw it, but I still find it incredible." Wang Kui's heart sank. Could it be some powerful firearm? What? For it, tang knives, about a dozen, no other highly lethal weapons found. I 1/4 ye 1/4 ye 1/4 ye 1/4 why? The expression on Wang Kui's face froze, and it took him a long time to laugh out loud. A dozen tang knives? Not even a gun? Who gave them the courage to be so arrogant? Wang Kui touched his shiny bald head, turned around and walked downstairs. Go down and order everyone tomorrow. I will take you to catch women and come back to play. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 92. Chapter 092, Skills Learned by Female Warriors Themselves. Show Miracles. In the early morning, Lin Fan woke up from the system beep. He turned on the system and took a look. Lin Fan quickly closed it. Those female warriors are so hard-working. Lin Fan couldn't help but sigh. He had said before that there was no need to kill zombies at night. He only needed to send a few people on duty to patrol regularly. Unexpectedly, this morning, the women were working hard to kill zombies. Others are working so hard without a system, so I can't Euro trademark to be too lazy. Sighing, Lin Fan let go of Zhao Wanqing in his arms. He spent a lot of energy on her last night. It is estimated that she will not get up this morning. He allowed Zhao Yanyan and the other three to dress him, and at the beginning, he feeling uncomfortable, Lin Fan no longer felt any sense of disobedience. He patted Zhao Yanyan's little head as usual, and then Lin Fan left the room. It takes more than half an hour to get dressed every day, which is a bit time-consuming. Zhao Yanyan was very skilled in Kung Fu. If it were Li Saiki, it would probably take longer. In the living room, 3 noble dogs were already waiting. Seeing Lin Fan coming out, they all knelt down to say hello. Finally, Li Yun asked, "My lord, what do you want? Serve the food now." After thinking about it for a while, Lin Yu and the others won't be getting up for a while anyway. He's not in a hurry to eat, so he might as well go for a walk first. No, just stay. Waving his hand, Lin Fan walked downstairs and left the supermarket. Breathing in the fresh air from the outside world, 1 month after the apocalypse, the air was a lot fresher, which is quite ironic. While walking, Lin Fan saw the door Li Fengjiao and others were killing zombies. It wasn't because Lin Fan wanted to see it, but the target was too big. Good guy, more than 100 people stayed up early in the morning and stood at the door of the hospital. This was something he didn't expect. It looked like it was Li Fengjiao and the others who were demonstrating how to kill zombies, and then giving courage to other women. Lin Fan walked over curiously, and happened to see Lu Yu holding a tang knife and slashing at the head of a zombie. The momentum was good, and the look in his eyes was good. She was decisive enough and acted decisively. It looked like that was the case. No need to think about this situation. Lin Fan also knew that this woman planned to be a female warrior, not a maid. Lin Fan's approach was quickly blocked by the woman. When they saw it, Li Fengjiao and others bowed their heads in salute, and the other women were no exception. Looking at Li Fengjiao and these women, the thing that left the deepest memory for Lin Fan was the figure of Li Fengjiao and the others in the morning light yesterday. 16 people, with the flesh and blood body, blocked the continuous attacks of zombies. This scene really shocked him. It also made him remember these women who had the courage to fight. These women's ideas of improving their strength were so pure, and their will was so determined. Maybe he is weak and afraid, so he climbs like crazy when there are stairs. Character, Li Fengjiao. Strength, 21. Agility, 22. Intelligence, 17. Physique, 23. Faith value, 100. Power, none. Skill, Sword Chi. Character, Zhu Fangfang. Strength, 20. Agility, 21. Intelligence, 17. Physique, 22. Faith value, 100. Power, none. Skill, Sword Chi. Character, Su Yan. Strength, 21. Agility, 21. Intelligence, 18. Physique, 23. Faith, 100 power. None. Skill, sword chi. Looking at the three women in the lead, Lin Fan was surprised. These three women had very strong attributes. It can be felt, but they also have skills, which Lin Fan didn't expect. System, what's going on? What's going on with this sword energy? Lord, the Tang Dao you gave you can be regarded as a training tool. These women use Tang Dao to kill zombies, which will improve their own quality. After the attributes reach 20 or more points they can be regarded American Samoa a breakthrough. The sword nourishes people, and people nourish their chi. When combined, they can form a sword light with terrifying lethality. Lin Fan was stunned. Good guy, why are you arguing with me about martial arts novels? The sword energy is coming out. But this is a good thing. The stronger these women are, the happier Lin Fan is. They are all serving him anyway. The stronger the women are, the stronger his power is. What's the point of being strong alone? A power cannot rely on just one or two people. Looking at these women like Li Fengqiao, Lin Fan was thinking, now if there is sword qi, will there be gang qi in the future? If there is too much qi in the body, condensed outside the body, isn't it gang qi? Lin Fan always feels that this Doomsday has developed in the direction of martial arts novels. Lin Fan they were thinking about the problem here. Li Fengjiao and the others didn't know that the three girls were a little confused when Lin Fan stared at them like this. Something is wrong? After coming back to his senses and seeing the woman's panic, Lin Fan suddenly understood and said comfortingly, I just checked your strength. It's very good. Sword chi is very powerful. Your performance was a little faster than I expected, you are great. Hearing Lin Fan's praise, Li Fengqiao and others breathed a sigh of relief, and hurriedly leaned forward and said, I don't dare to take credit. If it weren't for the Lord, we would still be living in dire straits. All of this is because of you, Lord. Given. Okay, stop praising, you guys go about your business, you did a good job, I'll go somewhere else. Lin Fan didn't stay long. He stayed here all the time and the women didn't have the time to train. He was just a disservice, so he had to keep avoiding people. Taking advantage of this moment, Lin Fan flew out of the hospital and started committing crimes from house to house. What kind of snacks were there? Lin Fan browsed all the shops and hotels, and his personal space was filled up in minutes. After running back and forth several times, Lin Fan was always searching for supplies. The back kitchens and even warehouses of major restaurants were visited. After taking care of all the restaurants on the street one by one, Lin Fan stopped moving. Lin Yu and the others had already gotten up and called him. Ask him to go back to eat. After breakfast, Zhao Wanqing, who was unable to move, was recovering from her injuries at home. Lin Fan took Lin Yu, Li Saiqi and others to the entrance of the hospital. When Lin Fan arrived with Lin Yu and the others, hundreds of women, both the female warriors and the maids were already waiting. Seeing this situation, Lin Fan had no nonsense. Zhao Yanyan. Before coming, Zhao Yanyan was informed of what would happen next. Only now did she understand the meaning of Lin Fan's question last night. It turned out that he wanted to teach her magical power in public today. Along the way, Zhao Yanyan felt like she was floating under her feet. She was so happy. It came so suddenly. Yesterday she was envious of Zhao Wanqing, but today she got her wish. Taking a step forward, Zhao Yanyan half knelt in front of Lin Fan respectfully. My lord, Zhao Yanyan is at your service. Looking at Zhao Yanyan who was half kneeling in front of him, Lin Fan still remembered the process of her serving him to get dressed in the morning. Zhao Yanyan also saw the look in Lin Fan's eyes, and her expression turned slightly. Knowing that this was not a place for fun, Lin Fan raised his head. He put his hand on her forehead, his face was solemn, full of majesty. Your performance has won my attention. I will give you extraordinary power today. Don't a Euro trademark T let me down. After the words fell, Lin Fan thought silently in his heart, teaching supernatural powers, target Zhao Yanyan. Ding. Deduct 1000 points and start teaching superpowers now. Green light appeared in Lin Fan's palm, and a breath full of vitality poured into Zhao Yanyan's body. A breath of life spread. In the astonished eyes of many women, greenery spread on the surrounding ground, and the grass it grew at a speed visible to the naked eye, a miraculous scene that broke the women's outlook. Especially Lu Yuer and others who were brought back yesterday. Even though Li Fengjiao and the others described it vividly, they had never really seen it, so they still couldn't imagine the scene at that time, and now I finally see it with my own eyes. Miracle. This is simply a miracle. Everything happening in front of me cannot be explained by science at all. The only two words that can be described are, miracle. Change the law of growth of all things. This is a method only possessed by gods. The imparting of superpowers ended quickly. Lin Fan removed his palm, and Zhao Yanyan, who had finished strengthening her body, opened her eyes. The green light in her palm spread like raindrops, and the vegetation on the ground grew wildly again. A vine shot up from the ground, covered with barbs. The vine slapped on the ground, leaving deep whip marks on the ground. There were dense cracks around the whip marks. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the power was, and the ground was shaken. If it were a human being, he would have died suddenly on the spot. Thank you, Lord. Zhao Yanyan was pleasantly surprised. Lin Fan smiled and said, "Okay, please step back first." Yes. Zhao Yanyan responded and stepped aside, and the vines under her feet also disappeared one after another. Li Saiki, who was standing next to Zhao Yanyan, felt her heart skip a beat. Under Mu Yiking's envious gaze, she walked out, half knelt in front of Lin Fan, and said respectfully, "My lord, Li Saiki is at your command. You are also very good, so I decided to give you extraordinary power." With that said, Lin Fan put his palm on Li Saiki's head and said silently in his heart system, "Target of imparting superpowers, Li Saiki." Ding. Deduct 1000 points and start imparting superpowers now. An earthy yellow light appeared, and thick earth attribute powers poured into Li Saiki's body. The earth attribute seeds separated from Lin Fan's body took root in Li Saiki's body. This time, no abnormality appeared. Just when the girls were confused. At that time, Li Saiki, who had finished her body strengthening, opened her eyes. To stab. After the words fell, a sharp cone of earth suddenly rose from the ground. The cone of earth, which was half a meter high, was intimidating. If a person were to touch it, not only would the chrysanthemum be broken, but the person would also turn into a candied horse. Earth wall. As if she was interested in testing her newly acquired abilities, Li Saiki raised her leg and stamped her leg. The ground shook, and a 2-meter high and 1-foot thick earth wall rose from the ground. Lin Fan waved to Li Fengjiao, who was not far away. Said, "Try the defense." Li Fengjiao understood, and took a few steps forward, 5 meters apart. He held his breath and concentrated. Lin Fan could feel a sharp qi flowing in Li Fengjiao's body. The sword flashed, and a half-meter-long half-moon sword appeared out of thin air. In an instant, it crossed a distance of 5 meters, was cut on the earth wall. Boom! The earth and rocks flew with the roar, the smoke dispersed, and a terrifying knife mark half a foot deep and 1 meter long appeared on the earth wall. This terrifying result was shocking. It touched the hearts of many women present. Today they saw many things they had never heard of or seen before, such as the power of plants that grow in all things, the earth power of offense and defense, and the sword energy in martial arts novels. And these are all from the man in front of them. Granted, a miracle was performed in front of them. Although they had seen Lin Fan's power yesterday, they were still shocked today. Is this man Really a god? Thinking of what Li Fengjiao said last night, Lu Yuer and others, they were all at a loss. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 93. Chapter 093, The Cruel Wan Kuei, The Thugs Attack. Zhenlong Hotel, the top 5-star hotel in Magic City. Before the end, there was an endless stream of people coming here to eat. When the end comes, there will be even more people coming here to eat. It's just that the food these people want to eat are the living people upstairs. From the window on the 6th floor, Wan Kuei looked down, holding a glass of wild rice wine as red as blood in his hand. The arm stretched out the window, the wine glass poured out, and the bright red wine like blood fell from the sky, falling on the heads and faces of the zombies, making the already ferocious zombies even more terrifying. Ho ho ho! The zombies roared crazily, scrambling for the blood of the living. Where was the wild rice wine spilled from the wine glass? It's clearly living human blood. The blood in the goblet poured out, Wan Kuei let go, and the wine glass fell from a high altitude, finally smashing into pieces. Seeing the zombies below chasing after the smell of human blood, Wan Kuei touched his shiny bald head, grinning and even looking crazy. Ha 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 ha, ahai, do you think these zombies look like the pets I keep? The ordinary-looking Ahai looked at the group of corpses below with a dull look. Even the actions Wan Kuei just made couldn't make many waves rise in his eyes. He has seen this kind of thing many times since the end of the world. As a person, a killer who lives in the darkness, his heart is very cold. Wan Kuei didn't take it seriously for Ahai's silence. He knew that Ahai's character was like this. He was a man of few words, but he had great faith in him. After all, he raised him since childhood. Ahai! He is his killing machine, helping him clean up those opponents. There are many people like Ahai, Wan Kuei has many people, but Ahai is the best one, and his attacks have never failed. Orphan, this is Ahai Euro trademark's identity. Wan Kuei has adopted many orphans like Ahai since he was a child, and then trained and brainwashed him. On the surface, he is an entrepreneur, but secretly, he is a cruel executioner, killing people and setting fires. He often did things like destroying people. This hotel was Wan Kuei's property. After the end of the world, Wan Kuei tore off his disguise. He was already full of gangsters and became the cruel devil. The human blood just released was released from the captive slaves. Ahai, is it almost time? Are our people ready? Those people are in the lobby on the 5th floor. Good. Wang Kuei shouted coldly, a ferocious look flashed in his eyes. Let's go, let's get those women back, teach them the truth about the apocalypse, and then deal with the bitch next door. Speaking of the woman next door, Wan Kuei looked out the window and finally settled on a bar. Night bar. Snort. On the 5th floor, a group of Wan Kuei's thugs gathered in the lobby in small groups. These thugs held various weapons in their hands, including pistols and long guns, all of which were standard weapons. These did not originally belong to Wan Kuei, but to Wan Kuei. Kuei took Ahai to raid the nearby police station, and then swept out the weapons. This greatly improved Wan Kuei's strength. Some of these thugs were his men, and some were prisoners brought back from the detention center. Now, they are all surrendered to him. Hey, I heard from Ahena boy that the boss discovered a gathering place for living people last night. Isn't it? Ahai's face was so paralyzed. I asked him for a long time before I asked him something. What? Tell me quickly. I finally asked, do you want to give me some benefits? For example, I have been attracted to that woman of yours for a long time, how about giving it to me to play with? Damn, IA Euro trademark VE been thinking about the woman that the boss rewarded me with all day long. Let me play with that one of yours too. Okay. In the corner, a man holding a sword in his hand chuckled and said, "Don't be so reluctant." I heard that boy Aha said that what was discovered this time was a force composed entirely of women, and the only weapon was his knife. Not much, I laughed to death after hearing this. Isn't a Euro trademark T this a piece of fat? Damn it. Real or fake? Is this okay? Isn't a Euro trademark T this giving women to brothers? The men next to them were all shocked. After reacting, they had silver smiles on their faces and looked extremely vulgar. The voices of the two were loud and attracted the attention of countless thugs. When they heard that they were all women, they all immediately shine light. There are many women in Zhenlong Hotel, and Wan Kuei is not stingy with rewards, but men are like this, they always want to do something new. Now that I heard this news, my interest suddenly increased. Damn it, Long Zi, please tell me honestly, what else do you know? That is it true or false? If you dare to talk nonsense, I'll slap you. Stop talking nonsense and explain it quickly. It will be of great benefit to you. Looking at the group of men with fierce faces approaching, Fei Long smiled and said proudly, "I'm not lying to you. Didn't you see that the boss mobilized so much to call us all here?" I heard Ahai say, "Hundreds of women." Good guy, I was so stupid at that time. The key is that the weapons seem to only have a few tang knives, not even a gun. After Fei Long finished speaking, the thugs next to him were stunned. The weapons only had tang knives, or a few, and not even guns? What is this? Isn't this the meat sent to the side? Is there such a thing in the world? Good thing. Hiss, when the time comes, Arena Euro trademark T the women just free for us to grab. Hundreds. Brothers, each one is enough, right? No, I can't bear it anymore. When will the boss come? Stop talking, the boss is here. Hearing that the boss was coming, the men quickly dispersed and looked at the door. Over there, Wan Kuei walked over with a shiny bald head, and the sinister smile on his face looked particularly ferocious. Brothers, it seems that you all know. Wan Kuei laughed. Looking at the wolf-like eyes of his men, he knew what they were discussing just now. Now that you all know it, then I have nothing to say. Everyone, please get over the overpass, get in our chariots, and come with me to snatch women. Wan Kuei waved his hand, and the men screamed and rushed towards the windows. Outside several windows, long steel plates were built as bridges to connect to the buildings on the opposite side. Hundreds of men with guns rushed to the opposite side like crazy, their footsteps without stopping, they crossed several buildings. By this time, there were a lot less zombies downstairs. The men took the simple elevator they built and came downstairs. After killing the zombies nearby, they boarded the prepared vehicles one after another. Modified Hummer, modified big truck, howling, the modified Hummer rushed out like a wild beast, and the zombies in the way were crushed one after another. The rain of blood splashing in the air and the broken corpses of the zombies made a group of thugs even more excited, like a chicken blood, stepping on the accelerator desperately. A convoy of dozens of modified cars crossed the street, killing and smashing countless zombies, and rushed all the way to the second key hospital in the Magic City. This trip, maybe this is the end. At the entrance of the hospital, after imparting the superpower, Lin Fan checked his points. After spending nearly 2.50,000 points in one pass, there are now only 2,625 left. It can be said that he returned to before liberation overnight, but points, if you don't a Euro trademark T spend it, you can keep it. Eat a Euro trademark S better to increase your vitality. Just say that the current 2,625 points will probably shrink by more than half soon. Because there are still 141 women who have chosen to kill zombies. From today on, they will from a maid to a female warrior. System, redeem me 141 tang knives. Ding. 1,410 points were deducted and 141 tang knives were obtained. The items have been distributed to personal space. The points dropped sharply to 1,215 points in an instant, and what I got back was 141 tang knives. Is it a loss? It's not a loss. Look at Li Fengjiao and the others. Basically, everyone got back more than 20 times the tang knives they exchanged for 10 points. And there will even be more in the future. As long as these women dare to fight zombies, Lin Fan is even confident that in up to 3 days, the points can exceed the previous 2.50,000 and reach a higher level. With a wave of his hand in front of his eyes, 141 the Tang Dao flashing with cold light appeared in front of them. This hand shocked hundreds of women again. With a shake of the palm, the Tang Dao flew out of the air and appeared in front of the women one after another. The blade was 3/4 of the way into the ground. Since you have chosen to be female warriors, these will be your weapons in the future, and weapons are your life. Whether you can survive and become stronger depends on your use of this weapon. Now, pull out the Tang Dao in front of you. Lin Fan's shout shocked the hearts of the women, and they all pulled out the Tang Dao in front of them. Their hands were cold, and then a warm current flowed into their bodies. Picking up this knife will not only change your identity, but also you must shoulder the responsibility represented by this knife. If your performance does not satisfy me, I will let you go back to being maids. Lin Fan's cold gaze swept across, and the women's bodies were all cold. The knives in their hands felt a lot heavier. Everything that needed to be done and said had been said and done. Lin Fan faced Lin Yuyu nodded, her figure flashed, and she left the hospital. The next thing can be left to Lin Yuyu. This kind of trivial matter is too complicated, and Lin Fan is too lazy to take care of it. His current task is to be a porter. Lin Fan has almost finished moving the rice, noodles, oil, salt, sauce, and vinegar. Next is some cosmetics, clothes, stockings, high heels, jewelry, and the like. It is inevitable to go to the adult counter. After Lin Fan left, Lin Yuyu stepped forward to allocate the personnel, disperse the 141 women, and handed them over to Zhao Yanyan and others to manage. The second management team was Li Fengjiao, Su Yan, and other outstanding female warriors. I believe that with Li Fengjiao and the others leading the team, these new recruits will quickly adapt to the rhythm of killing zombies. The teams have been divided. You don't a Euro trademark T have to go too far away from the hospital today. Just kill the zombies nearby outside the hospital. You a Euro trademark D better adapt to the rhythm that follows. This will allow you to survive better. There won't a Euro trademark T be anything like this tomorrow. Treated. Lin Yuyu's words made Lu Yuer and others feel awe-inspiring. They were afraid that tomorrow they would have to go to a place farther away from the hospital to kill zombies. By then, it would not be as safe as here in the hospital. A strong sense of urgency arose in the hearts of the women. Feeling, in order to survive better, they will work hard today. Attention of each team, under the leadership of their respective captains, go to the hospital to kill. Before Lin Yuyu could finish speaking, the thunderous roar of the engine came from the distance, mixed with howls like wild beasts. Go, go, go. Get all those women. Ouch. Ouch. I saw. Ha 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 ha, they are all women. All are women. They all belong to me. They all belong to me. I want to beat you 10 times. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 94. Chapter 094, The thoughtful bald villain, Wang Kui is so confused. The engine is roaring. The heavily modified Hummer is clearing the way. It has terrifying power. Steel spikes are installed on both sides of the wheels and the front of the car. Anything in the way, zombies on the road or that jumped up, were smashed into pieces. The entire Hummer was like a huge meat grinder. In the Hummer, Wang Kui was sitting in the passenger seat. Through the front window, he could see the words Magic City's Second Key Hospital in front of him. The person driving the car was a tall black man with bulging muscles in his arms, looking particularly scary. The Hummer was followed closely by dozens of modified vehicles, jeeps, and large trucks, all of which had been modified to the point of being modified. The zombies on both sides would be smashed into pieces by the steel spikes on the wheels as long as they got close. On the big truck behind, the thugs holding microchargers were howling and screaming, looking crazy, and their eyes were bloodshot, like wild beasts emerging from their cages. Ouch! Ouch! Go, go, go. I can't wait to push those girls to the ground and do it. Oh 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 oh. I saw it, ha 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 ha, just like what Ahai said, those women all wielded tang knives, I was laughing so hard. Grass. There are more than 100 women, all holding tang knives. Are they trying to make Dad laugh to death? Is the knife useless? I'll give you all the to-do. Damn it, those women are so beautiful. I a Euro trademark VE fallen in love with the pretty girl standing at the door. That a Euro trademark S my thing. Stop looking, give me a look, that a Euro trademark S enough. I want the guy over there who looks the most ticklish. I want you to be taller than a horse. Is that something you can touch? Those are all Big Brother a Euro trademark S dishes. A dozen men on the truck were pushing each other, fighting for the telescope, and the expressions on their faces were indescribably vulgar. After grabbing the telescope, the team leader who spoke last took out his walkie-talkie, dialed the number and said flatteringly, "Boss, look." When I arrived, I saw them all. There were many women at the door. There were a lot of weapons, but they were all tang knives. No heavy weapons were found. Damn it, boss, those buttons are so beautiful. It looks so exciting. In the Hummer, listening to the report on the intercom, Wang Kui opened his eyes and showed his fierce look. Big Black. Full speed ahead. When the black man heard Wang Kui's order, a disgusting smile appeared on his ugly face, and he stepped on the accelerator. The Hummer was like a crazy bull, the engine roared, and the speed surged again. On a tall building not far away, Ahai standing on the roof of the building, holding an anti-equipment sniper rifle in his hand and aiming at the hospital. Not only this building, but also several other buildings had snipers pointing the direction of the hospital. Wang Kui's ability to reach this point was not just relying on cruel means, and brains are also essential. And before the end of the world, being able to possess a powerful and destructive weapon like an anti-material sniper rifle under such severe domestic restrictions is enough to prove Wang Kui's wisdom and ability. Even when a lion fights a rabbit, he still goes all out. Wang Kui has no intention of capsizing in the gutter. It is Wang Kui's creed that he must be fully prepared for everything. He is not a brainless villain. Like killing other people's whole families, destroying people for everything he did, he mobilized a large amount of manpower at once to make careful plans, or even more than one set of plans. His meticulousness was astonishing. Wang Kui never did anything to impart experience to others. At the door of the hospital, Lin Yuyu had already seen the speeding Hummer, and the other women also heard the harsh roar and the howls of the thugs, and all of them seemed a little panicked. Among the more than 100 people, only Lin Yuyu and Li Fengjiao, the faces of these female warriors, are as usual. After all, they are women who have seen the big world or have powerful abilities. They are not on the same level as ordinary women like Lu Yu. Whether it is courage or strength, they are not on the same level. Squeak. The Humvee suddenly stopped at the entrance of the hospital. The terrifying force, even when it stopped, knocked the few zombies at the entrance of the hospital 10 meters away, and they disintegrated in mid-air. Click, click, click. The submachine gun was spitting out flames. One after another, the thugs jumped out of the car, and the dense bullets completely wiped out the few zombies. Pushing open the door of the Hummer, Wan Kuei got out of the passenger seat, touched his shiny bald head, and stood in the sunshine. Wow, the bald head is so bright. Hula la. A group of people swarmed in, each with a gun in their hand. Hundreds of thugs looked at Lin Yu and others through the hospital's electronic door with bright eyes. Boss, these girls look so exciting. I can't bear it anymore. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. The thugs smashed the electronic door hard, and the thugs laughed ferociously. The harsh sound and the guns in their hands made many women turn pale. Wan Kuei raised his hand, and the thugs stopped talking and stopped banging on the electronic door. With both hands on the electronic door, Wan Kuei glanced at the weapons in the women's hands with disdain. I don't like to use violence, because it can easily cause casualties. After all, bullets have no eyes. I'm here to ask, is anyone willing to follow us? Wan Kuei is telling the truth. Bullets are short-sighted when it comes to fighting. Although women are good, in Wan Kuei's eyes, men who can fight are more important. He doesn't want to fight hand-to-hand with these women. Wouldn't that be a fool? What if? It would be best if it could be solved peacefully. I don't know if it was to cheer Wan Kuei, the thugs next to him all opened the insurance, and the sound of click touched the nerves, and many women began to look pale. His face turned pale, and there was even a look of panic in his eyes. Seeing this situation, Wan Kuei was very satisfied. He even felt that if he was forced for a while, or even threatened with a shot, some women might kneel down and beg for mercy. In the apocalypse, the deterrence of guns is very high. Once someone takes the lead in surrender, it is not impossible to trigger large-scale surrender under panic. After all, everyone follows the herd. A cold light flashed in Su Yan's eyes when he saw these men. She has murderous intentions. Those guns are indeed scary, but she is confident enough to dodge those bullets. She doesn't a Euro trademark T need to be faster than those bullets, she just needs to be faster than those who shoot. As long as she is shot, she rushed into the crowd. She was sure to kill all these scum within a few minutes. Even if she was unfortunately hit by a bullet, it didn't matter. This life was given by Lin Fan. These scum tried to invade the hospital and rob the hospital. She would risk her life to take away Lord Lin Fan's property. Not only Su Yan, but also dozens of female warriors such as Li Fengjiao had their hands on the handle of the knife. The energy in Li Fengjiao and Zhu Fangfang's bodies was even more concentrated. Once if he takes action, it will definitely be shocking. Sensing the serious atmosphere, Wan Kuei squinted his eyes and looked at Li Fengjiao and others who were trying to take action. He felt a little ridiculous in his heart. Are these women crazy? Are they going to fight with knives and bullets? What year is it? At this time, Lin Yu suddenly raised his hand. Seeing this action, Li Fengjiao and others were slightly startled. What is this? Why not let them do it? Su Yan and others are getting anxious. Are they going to take the initiative? Giving up all her foundation to these people in front of her? Lin Yu definitely didn't think so. She heard the rapid breathing of the women behind her, which was caused by excessive stress. Lin Yu didn't take the thugs in front of her seriously. Hundreds of people? Hundreds of guns. It's nothing. If she wanted to, she could kill them all in less than a minute. In fact, she not only spotted Wan Kuei and others in front of her, but also had a sniper in the distance. She discovered the guns Ahai and others. The ability to control magnetic fields is as high as level 6. Now Lin Yu can be said to be an inhuman existence. When she was targeted by the sniper rifle, she already had a sense of crisis in her heart, and she glanced lightly scanning. I saw a sniper upstairs 1,000 meters away. The reason why I didn't kill the people in front of me was not because I was afraid of their guns, nor was I afraid of the snipers in the distance. To put it bluntly, even if Lin Yuyu stood still, if she doesn't move here, as long as she thinks about it, those bullets will never be able to break through the hospital door. She has only one idea now: how many of these 141 women are not firm enough? These people in front of her are the best touchstones, if there are any. Clean up quickly. In the hospital, Lin Fan is not here. Lin Yuyu has the absolute right to speak. No one dares to violate it. Even if Zhao Yanyan and Li Saiqi don't understand what Lin Yuyu is thinking, they did not act rashly at this time. They believe that Lin Yuyu did this, she must have a point. On the second floor of the supermarket, Zhao Wanqing stood by the window and looked at the door of the hospital. The roar outside was so harsh. She was not deaf. Looking at Lin Yuyu's movements, Zhao Wanqing thought about it and probably understood what she was thinking. Mistress Wanqing, do you want to call the Lord? The three noble dogs waiting on the side spoke. It was Li Yun who spoke. There were too many people at the entrance of the hospital, and they all carried guns. Li Yun was afraid of something happening. In her eyes, if Lin Fan comes back, there is nothing to fear from these people. No need, this small scene doesn't require the Lord to come back at all. If Yuyu is willing, you can kill them all in 1 minute. Let alone Yuyu, even if I am outside, these people will never survive for 2 minutes. Zhao Wanqing shook her head slightly, with disdain in her words. Li Yun and the other three looked at each other, not daring to say anything more. You can say it again. If you say it again, you are obviously questioning Zhao Wanqing, the mistress. Anyone who is not stupid will not do such a stupid thing. At the door of the hospital, Lin Yuyu opened her red lips lightly and said calmly, do any of you want to surrender? I can allow you to go over, otherwise there will be a fight. The sword has no eyes, and you will be really dead if you are hit by bullets. There is no regret medicine to take. Behind Lin Yuyu, the women were frightened. Those black muzzles were too scary. Lin Fan is not here now. What should they do? What should we do? Qin Xia pulled the corner of Lu Yuer's clothes and asked fearfully. She was used to listening to Lu Yuer's opinions, and she seemed to have no independent opinion. Although she had her own ideas in her heart, she wanted to hear Lu Yuer's opinions more. Opinions, see if they are the same. Han Jing'ai blinked her beautiful eyes and looked at Lu Yuer. Being stared at by the good sisters, Lu Yuer had thousands of thoughts in her heart. The accident came too fast, I couldn't even react. Thinking about the miracle I just saw, and then looking at Lin Yuyu standing in front of me, I made up my mind. Fight with them. Okay, lead a Euro trademark S, fight them. I listen to you. The three sisters clenched the hilts of their knives. As long as Lin Yuyu said a word, they would rush forward even if they had to hold the gun. If they died earlier, they wouldn't have to suffer in the Doomsday. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 5 minutes passed. Although the women's eyes were very shaken, no one came forward in the end. Seeing this scene, Wang Kui's face turned dark. The situation he least wanted to see happened. If you don't drink the toast, you will be fined with wine, since you want to die. I will make it happen for you. P.S. Some readers in the comment area questioned the issue of married women, saying how it is in reality and why it can't be the same in novels. Let me explain, this is the end of the world. The protagonist has the power to do whatever he wants. He can take whatever he wants. It's simple, right? I like to watch everything. I'm sorry that I can't satisfy everyone. I can't satisfy everyone. RMB can't be liked by everyone. The protagonist is not a shabby shoe. As for that, I'm sorry if it has caused you discomfort. Maybe this book is not for you, because it is not everywhere. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 95. Chapter 095. Eat a Euro trademark S. Not that there a Euro trademark S a problem with my plan, eat a Euro trademark S that the other party is cheating. Wang Kui was furious. The women in front of him thought he was an idiot. Would they rather die than fight with him? Just those broken knives? No matter how fast your knife is, can you kill me from 7 or 8 meters away? Can't. But my gun can kill you all in 1 minute. He still has to resist stubbornly. What is this if he isn't a fool? He even doubted whether these women were mentally abnormal. I thought I would gain something big when I came out this time, but what happened? Grass. Encountered a group of lunatics with one mind. I would rather die than surrender. Then what was his purpose in bringing people out? This trip was a waste of fuel and bullets just to kill these women suddenly. No matter how you look at it, this horse rider is losing money. But this is the fact, and Wang Kui has no way to do it. With their arms raised high, the eyes of many thugs flashed with unbearable looks, but they did not hesitate and raised their guns one after another. As long as Wang Kui gave the order, they would pull the trigger without hesitation. With hundreds of guns pointed at them, no matter how firm their confidence was, the women were now panicking, with cold sweat on their foreheads. This time, they were really going to die. Is it true that none of you are willing to surrender? You will probably die next. Lin Yu looked calm and didn't take these people seriously at all. Lin Yu's attitude deeply irritated Wang Kui. How calm was that look in her eyes? It was as if she didn't take him and his men into consideration at all. This attitude of contempt and disdain made Wang Kui crazy. Shot. Shot. Shoot them all. The roar was like a wild beast. Wang Kui's face was ferocious, his eyes were bloodshot, and he was in a state of madness. Godfather, leave quickly. Go quickly. At the moment when Wang Kui ordered the shooting, Ahai's uneasy roar came from the intercom, as if he had seen something terrible. The sudden sound made Wang Kui stunned for a moment. But others were not like this. This reaction occurred. The moment Wang Kui ordered to fire, everyone pulled the trigger. At this moment, hundreds of guns spurted out flames. The pupils of Li Fengjiao and others suddenly shrank, and they all started to move, but before they could take a step forward, as soon as he made a move, he was imprisoned in place. On a tall building in the distance, Aha looked horrified. When Wang Kui ordered to shoot, he was about to pull the trigger, but the killer's instinct was warning frantically at this moment. That kind of the fatal crisis almost made him suffocate. He didn't know where the sense of crisis came from, but this innate sense of crisis had saved his life more than once, and he was convinced that at this time he was shouting at the walkie-talkie frantically. Intense gunshots came from the distance. Aha felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. His whole body seemed to have been thrown into the cold winter, and his whole body was exuding an icy cold air. At the entrance of the hospital, look as hundreds of guns fired at the same time, the women's hearts clicked in unison, and their pupils were extremely dilated. They seemed to have foreseen their deaths. Without escaping, they knew that everything was over. 1 month after the end, they were free. No more pain, maybe no more fear of death, no more suffering. To live is to suffer. At least for now. Lu Yuer's eyes were blank, looking at the bullets coming from her, she was really blank. She knew that this bet was wrong, and her God did not come to save her, but it was okay, just die once, it would be over, and she would not have to work hard or think about who to please all day long. In this way, it was quite good. Okay. Just when Lu Yuer and others were desperate, they suddenly realized that something was wrong. Well, Yu, why am I not dead yet? Do you see the bullets still flying in front of you? Why do I feel like I'm in slow motion? The sound of the gunshot was piercing, but several seconds had passed. How come she wasn't dead yet? Moreover, she actually saw bullets spinning not far away in front of her. Lu Yuer and everyone were stunned. Yuer, I seem to have seen it too. Is this the world before death? I heard that there is great horror when people die. Is it this kind of slow death? Qin Shia was a little confused and looked very confused when she spoke. Hanjing I was full of question marks. You two are enough, the bullet has clearly stopped, where are you two mumbling about wool? The invisible magnetic field will cause thousands of the bullet was controlled in mid-air. Lin Yu ignored Wang Kui and others who were stunned in front of him, and slowly turned around to look behind him. He raised his hand and pinched Li Fengjiao's anxious face. Lin Yu smiled slightly. At this moment, the women present seemed to see the goddess. This smile amazes all living beings. Why are you anxious? I'm not anxious. Why are you anxious? Li Fengjiao's face was pinched by Lin Yu. Li Fengjiao's face instantly reached the root of her neck. Then she quickly tightened her legs in a very unsatisfactory way. Lin Yu? Li Fengjiao is always embarrassed, she. Withdrawing her hand, Lin Yu's face quickly returned to normal. Looking at the pale-faced girls, she said with satisfaction, your performance is outstanding. I thought some of you would stand up and surrender, but you exceeded my expectations unexpectedly. No matter what the reason is, your performance has won my approval. Recognized by Lin Yu, the women looked at the bullets stopped in mid-air. They finally realized something, and their faces flushed with excitement. Yes. As a superior god, Lin Fan rewarded the maid who was waiting beside him with divine power, but what about Lin Yu, the mistress? How could it not be? They are so stupid. Ida Euro trademark s no use worrying. Different from the excitement of the women, the thugs including Wang Kui were stunned. The guns in their hands were all empty of bullets, but the women in front of him were not injured at all. Looking at the dense bullets that stopped in mid-air, Wang Kui was stunned. How is this going? Who can tell me what is going on? Wang Kui's absent-minded voice brought back the sanity of the thugs. Looking at the dense bullets parked in mid-air in front of them, each of them looked pale and their eyes were horrified. This situation beyond their understanding frightened them. Run. Run away. This is what all the thugs are thinking. Fuck those women, don't a Euro trademark T want them anymore, run away. But soon, these thugs discovered that they couldn't a Euro trademark T move. How, what happened? Why can't I move? Grass. What happened? Why is my body no longer under my control? What a joke. Move. Move. Move quickly. Ah. Damn it, why can't a Euro trademark T I move? A horrified howl came from the door. Hearing the howls of his men around him, Wang Kui's heart tightened. He tried quickly, but found that he really couldn't move. It was clear that he still had control over his body, but his thoughts could. It was conveyed, but I just couldn't move. It was like my body was embedded in a mold, it was so tight that I couldn't move at all. At this time, Aha's horrified cry came from the intercom. Godfather, run. You run. Something is wrong. There's something wrong with that woman, and I've discovered a big problem. The man passing through the sky in the previous video is probably the leader of this force. Godfather, run away. Run. No matter how Ahai shouted on the walkie-talkie, it had no effect. Wang Kui wanted to pick up the walkie-talkie and respond, but he couldn't. He couldn't move at all now, let alone escape, he couldn't even move his fingers. I know, I failed this time. Ida Euro trademark s not that he wasn't a Euro trademark T careful enough, or that he was careless. Ida Euro trademark s that the opponent didn't a Euro trademark T play according to common sense. Damn. The opponent actually has superpower U. This directly hit the steel plate. No, this is the nuclear bomb is on. Zilla zilla, the sound of thunder and lightning was piercing, and a figure wrapped in a blue electric arc flew quickly through the sky. The arc spread several meters behind him, and he arrived at the door of the hospital in almost the blink of an eye. Click. From landing in mid-air, thunder and lightning raged around him. When the lightning dissipated, Zhao Wanqing's lineup was revealed. Looking at the hundreds of men in front of him, Zhao Wanqing glanced at Lin Yuyu next to him and asked, "What are you planning to do?" "Killed." Listening to Lin Yuyu's understatement, Wang Kui and others felt an infinite chill in their hearts. "Don't want. Don't kill me, I don't want to die. I can surrender to you. Right? Don't kill me, I can work, I'm very strong, I can kill zombies, please don't kill me. I don't want to die. Spare my life, no matter what you ask me to do." The thugs' faces were pale, and they kept wailing and begging for mercy. Lin Yuyu was upset when she heard this. With a little care, everyone was sealed. "What do you recommend?" "Zhao." Wanqing glanced over and nodded, "With so many people on the other side, they should be a big force. There must be a lot of women and men left behind in their stronghold. We must root out all the evil and find out their stronghold." Then they went to search the house. Lin Yuyu nodded, "Okay, let's do this. There are a few small bugs in the distance. Go kill them or bring them back." Zhaoqing's eyes narrowed slightly, and she looked towards the tall building 1,000 meters away, and soon found her target. "I went first." After saying that, he jumped up from the ground, like a thunderbolt passing through the air, and quickly flew towards the tall building in the distance. On the roof, seeing the scene through the sniper rifle scope, Ahai was completely frightened. Seeing Wang Kui and others motionless on the spot, Ahai gritted his teeth, turned around and ran downstairs. "Hey, little brother, I didn't intend to let you go like this." A cold voice came, and Ahai was startled. "Why so fast?" He turned around and was about to raise his gun to attack, but just as he turned around, a ray of lightning rushed to him. Zi la la. The lightning flashed, and Ahai struggled on the ground in pain, but the lightning was so terrifying that he soon stopped moving. The lightning dissipated, leaving only a charred corpse on the spot. "Oops, I accidentally overcharged the battery, I'm sorry." Although he said he was sorry, there was no apologetic attitude on Zhao Wanqing's face. She bent down to pick up the anti-material sniper rifle on the ground, and flew towards the tall building next to her without looking back. All 4 snipers were killed. Zhao Wanqing's eyes cold and murderous, she had no intention of letting anyone go. After coming and going, Zhao Wanqing didn't even need 3 minutes to return to the hospital again, throwing down 3 anti-material sniper rifles and spreading her hands. "Well, these are the harvest. As for people, do you want charcoal?" Lin Yuyu was speechless. "Just kill him. What else could you say to me?" Looking at the door, Lin Yuyu's mind was spinning, and he soon thought of a new idea. It would be too cheap for these men to die like this. It's just right. The group of new recruits behind them hadn't seen any blood yet, so let these men sacrifice their swords. With a wave of his hand, dense bullets shot out in mid-air. Hundreds of men's legs were bleeding, and Xiaofeng was penetrated by bullets one after another. Wound. After doing this, Lin Yuyu took a shot from the sky, and the men flew into the hospital one after another. With his fingers hooked, a man whose right leg was injured by a bullet floated out and stopped in the open space. Pointing at this man, Lin Yuyu looked at the girls behind her and said, "He is your opponent, which one of you will kill him with the sacrificial knife?" Zhao Wanqing next to her heard this and her eyes lit up. This move is so wonderful. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 96. Chapter 096. The capable are on top, the weak are on the bottom, the iron rule of the apocalypse. Wow! Lin Yuyu's words shocked the entire audience. The women looked at Lin Yuyu in disbelief. You must know that this is not killing zombies, but killing people. This is fundamentally different from zombies. As for Wang Kui and the others, their faces were all pale, with fear and despair in their eyes. Even Wang Kui felt chills in his heart. Has he ever done such a thing? He must have done it before, but it was the first time he had seen a woman with such a cruel heart, except for the woman from the power next door. Today was a failure. Wang Kui could see it clearly, but he didn't have much regret. He had tried his best and was ruthless and decisive enough, but the woman in front of him was cheating. What about the promised ordinary Doomsday? Didn't you say you don't have superpowers? What's this? Just when many women were at a loss, Wang Ziwen came out dragging her injured leg, with the tang knife unsheathed in her hand, her face cold, and her eyes without any waves, as if what she was going to do next was not to kill people, but to kill zombies. Really? In Wang Ziwen's heart, there was no difference between the thugs in front of her and the zombies. She could see clearly that she was betrayed by the partner she saved with her own hands. At that time, she had clearly seen the humanity in the apocalypse. Are these thugs in front of me worthy of pity? No. Judging from their previous actions, we knew that they must have killed many people. If Lin Yuyu hadn't been here today, what would have been the fate of her and those women? Either they will all be killed by bullets, or they will be caught by these men, imprisoned and become a plaything after dinner, and their future life will only be endless misery. These thugs all deserve to die. When Wang Ziwen walked out of the crowd, Lin Yuyu glanced sideways. She knew the foundation of this woman. Lin Fan had told her that she was indeed a talent who could step forward so decisively. Unlike those women who had no chance of doing so. React to. In the crowd, Lu Yuer had recovered from the shock just now. Looking at Wang Ziwen's movements and the light in Lin Yuyu's eyes, Lu Yuer wanted to raise her hand and slap herself. What a good opportunity to express herself. Even if she stood up right away, she wouldn't attract too much attention. The pearls were in front, and the rest of the light was dim. It was like a competition. Only the winner could attract everyone's attention, and the second and third place were all foils. No. I don't want to die. The thug standing in the center of the field has regained his ability to move. Looking at Wang Ziwen walking step by step with the Tang Dao in front of him, he shouted in horror and limped back. Wang Ziwen's eyes turned cold and he held the Tang Dao. Approaching quickly, the injury on her leg has already scarred. As long as it is not a high-intensity exercise, it is not a problem at all. No. No. Buzz. The graceful figure accelerated, the Tang Dao was held in front of her, the sword flashed, a splash of blood splashed, Wang Ziwen's left leg was on the bottom, the figure spun, the Tang Dao reversed and pierced into the vest, and then quickly drew the knife and retreated. Bai Zia Wang Ziwen understands the reason why a dead insect does not freeze. She does not want to be hurt by someone who is destined to die. Do it. Do it perfectly. Poof. The blood fountain splashed out under the high pressure, two vital parts were severely injured, and the thugs had already he couldn't die anymore. Bang. The corpse fell to the ground, splashing some dust, and the muffled sound was like a giant hammer hitting the hearts of the thugs and women. With everyone's eyes watching, Wang Ziwen dragged her injured leg. He walked back step by step. His action seemed to have caused the wound to open a little. Mistress, the enemy has been eliminated, and Wang Ziwen is lucky to have lived up to her command. Lin Yuyu admired in her heart. Wang Ziwen's performance was amazing. If nothing else, with her appearance, she might be a member of the core team in the future. You did a good job, Yanyan, healing her. Yes, Sister Yuyu. Zhao Yanyan responded sweetly, stepped forward, took Wang Ziwen's hand, and helped her to the side. Lin Fan told her about Zhao Yanyan's ability last night. Lin Yuyu probably knew about her ability. The convenience is very broad, including killing enemies, controlling, promoting birth, and healing. Zhao Yanyan can't even deal with a small leg injury. Roll up Wang Ziwen's trouser leg, revealing a small section of white and tender crotch, which is warm and moist. A scar on the jade-like crotch ruined the beauty of the entire crotch. At this time, the scar had collapsed and was bleeding. Zhao Yanyan raised her palm, and the gleaming green light exuded vitality. Under Zhao Yanyan's control, the light covered the wound. Under the repair of plant energy, the wound recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye until it was completely healed. Withdrawing her hand, Zhao Yanyan looked at her masterpiece with satisfaction, feeling indescribable excitement in her heart. This was what Lin Fan had given her. Her divine power. Okay, you can stand up. Wang Ziwen looked at her little girl in surprise. All the previous injuries were healed without even leaving any scars. Her skin was as crystal clear as jade. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed it was true. Not only Wang Ziwen, many female warriors were also looking here. A miraculous scene appeared in front of them. These female warriors were stunned when they saw it. This is divine power. A miracle that is beyond comprehension and cannot be explained by science. Lin Yuyu was also watching this scene. Seeing that Wang Ziwen was recovering from her injuries, she said calmly, from today on, you will join Wang Qing's team, so please leave. Wang Ziwen came to her senses, stood up quickly, and said respectfully, thank you, mistress, for the reward. Wang Ziwen knew in her heart that if Lin Yuyu hadn't spoken, her injury would never have healed so quickly, and failure to recover from the injury would have seriously affected her subsequent development, which would be very detrimental to her. Lin Yuyu's words are nothing less than a gift of renewal to her. Next. With that said, another thug flew out. This time, without waiting for the other women to react, Lu Yuer quickly stood up and got ahead of everyone. Second place is second place, even if it's not first place, it's still second place. Can get one, pay attention, but next time she'll have to be first. Lu Yuer reacted so quickly, which shocked the other female warriors. At this moment, the women had already reacted, cursing angrily in their hearts. They were not stupid. This was obviously a good opportunity to show their faces. Eat a Euro trademark, a pity that it was snatched away. As for whether it would be dangerous to kill those thugs, the women don't take it seriously. They have tang knives in their hands, but the opponent is still Lame. If they can't beat him, then they are too useless. Without even giving the thug a chance to speak, Lu Yuer clenched the tang dao in his hand and rushed forward quickly. The tang dao faced his bare hands without any suspense. He stabbed the knife cleanly into the heart and quickly retreated. At this time, the thug eye had just reacted from the panic, and it was already too late to say anything. After doing all this, Lu Yuer came back with expectations, but to her disappointment, Lin Yuyu just glanced at her lightly. Next. After saying these 3 words, another thug flew out, but the female warriors cheered and all the women took a step forward. The thug who flew out was so frightened that his face turned blue. Seeing this scene, Lin Yuyu simply said, let's go together. After speaking, he released the thug's restrictions and regained control of his body. Wang Kui looked at a group of sluggish women, a ruthless look flashed in his eyes, and shouted sternly, don't rush me to death. Killing everyone is not a loss. Kill 2 and earn money. Everybody follow me. Wang Kui's words instantly inspired the fighting spirit of the thugs. They would all die anyway, so they all fought hard. You stinky cousins, I'm going to kill you. Kill. Kill. Kill them. If you don't a Euro trademark T let me live, you want a Euro trademark T have a good life either. Fight with them. Hundreds of thugs with red eyes, howling and screaming rushed towards the women. Hundreds of crazy thugs charged together. Even without weapons, the momentum scared the women's faces. When Wang Ziwen saw this, the tang sword that had just been sheathed was unsheathed again and rushed out without hesitation. Lu Yu cursed in her heart and pushed her two sisters, who also rushed forward. After being pushed back to their senses, Qin Shio and the two they rushed out in a hurry. At this time, the female warriors all came to their senses. They gritted their teeth and rushed forward with the knife in hand. The light of the knife flashed, and Wang Ziwen was like a strong female leopard, flexible and ruthless. Every time the tang knife in his hand was swung, it would definitely kill a thug. Lu Yuer's performance was remarkable, but his movements were not slow at all, and then there were the two Qin Shio and Han Jing Ai who had just seen blood. As for the rest, the women behaved in an ordinary way, and some even had trembling hands and fear, and then were kicked down by the crazy thugs. Lin Yu always grabbed such women and threw them aside. Deprive female warriors of their privileges and return them to slavery. With a simple sentence, the captured female warriors' faces instantly turned pale, with despair in their eyes. They rolled over and wanted to pounce on them to beg, but were stopped by Li Fengjiao and others with frowns. For these women, no one would sympathy. The opportunity has been given to you, but you can't seize it. The capable will go up and the weak will go down. This is the rule in the apocalypse. The women are killing like crazy, each one has blind eyes, and their faces are covered with the blood of unknown thugs. Some of them even had injuries on their bodies. Even with the Tang Dao as a weapon, the men's fists and kicks were not ordinary. The crazy women were extremely ruthless, stabbing one after another, as if they had some sworn relationship with the violent men in front of them. Vengeance. The number of thugs decreased rapidly. Soon, the thugs were afraid. They woke up from the madness and saw that there was almost no reduction in numbers. The female warriors who had been recruited all collapsed on the ground in fear and rolled and crawled back. I don't know when Wang Kui died. Maybe he was killed by Wang Ziwen or Lu Yuer, or he was killed by an unknown woman who took advantage of the chaos. The road to becoming a hero was over before it even started. The scene was over. The three thugs left in the scene were surrounded by corpses of thugs. Hundreds of thugs were dead. It can be said that corpses were everywhere and rivers of blood flowed. Stop it! Lin Yu's words made the women in the field wake up instantly. Looking at the three remaining thugs, no woman dared to take a step forward. Here, Lin Yu's words are absolute. Magnetic field power. As soon as they were closed and released, three thugs appeared in front of them. Where is your base? Facing Lin Yu's inquiry, a surge of hope sprouted on the faces of the three thugs. If we tell you, will you let us go? I told you that euthanasia is possible, but if you don't a Euro trademark T tell me, you will die miserably. The three thugs turned pale. They had no intention of giving them away to survive. No matter what, you are dead, and you still want to know the news from us? You are dreaming. Pooh. Don't even think about it. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 97. Chapter 097 Parasitism. Terrifying plant-based abilities. Be bold. Seeing that the thugs dared to be disrespectful to Lin Yu, the mistress, Su Yan angrily scolded and kicked him fiercely. The thug who spoke was kicked 10 meters away, his muscles and bones were shattered in mid-air, and he rolled several times on the ground. Killed on the spot. Looking at the blood foam at his feet, Lin Yu's eyes turned cold. Yanyan. Zhao Yanyan understood, and stepped forward with a smile. She was naturally charming, with long and narrow eyebrows, and her every move was seductive. But the only two men now couldn't care less about it at this time. They had a bad feeling in their hearts. Looking at Zhao Yanyan with a sweet smile, they always felt that a disaster was coming. Although Zhao Yanyan smiled sweetly now, the murderous intention in her heart was already boiling. These thugs dared to insult Lin Yu. This is simply unforgivable. Before the end of the world, I was a botany teacher. I have been fond of flowers and plants since I was a child. I also have a lot of experience in how to plant them. However, no matter how good the soil is, its nutrients are limited. Until I discovered something that is more nutritious than the soil. The higher it is, the more beautiful the flowers will be. Mrs. Wang in The Legend of Dragons and the Love Flower in The Legend of the Condor heroes all use humans as fertilizer. I would also like to try it on you to see how beautiful these flowers grown by humans are. Zhao Yanyan's smile was sweet, but what she said was extremely terrifying, which made the two thugs tremble with fear. Thinking about the flowers and plants growing on their bodies, the scene simply made them shudder. Explain. We say. We all say it. Too late, Zhao Yanyan narrowed her eyes slightly, and green light flashed in her hand. A few green lights fell on the two thugs, and then quickly disappeared into the body. Seeing this scene, Zhao Yanyan smiled brightly. First the seeds are planted, then they grow, and then they in full bloom. How long can you hold on? Before he finished speaking, the two thugs were struggling and wailing crazily on the ground. They kept scratching their bodies with their hands. They looked like they wanted to scratch their flesh off. Many female warriors were frightened when they saw the two thugs rolling on the ground. Swallowed, even Li Fengjiao and the others felt uncomfortable all over, and subconsciously scratched their arms. Puff! Emerald green buds grew out. The two thugs were hoarse and still screamed. Flowers. The process of growing up was heartbreaking and itchy to the bone. They wanted to die, but that was simply impossible. The strips of paper grew, trapping the two thugs on the ground like strips of cocoons, making it difficult for them to even move. They can only scream in despair. They just want to die now. They have had enough. They don't Euro trademark T want to live for a second. It is too painful. The most cruel punishment in the world is not as good as this. They just want to die. Only death is relief. Just when the two thugs were about to collapse, Zhao Yanyan raised her hand slightly, and the growing flowers stopped. The pain was temporarily relieved, and the miserable howls of the two thugs finally weakened. Kill me! Kill me! I want to die! Kill me now! I said. Our base is at Zhenlong Hotel, 8 kilometers away. Hurry! Let me die! Let me die! The two thugs were already a little delirious, shouting wildly, and the location of the base was already revealed. Zhao Yanyan snorted coldly. Wasn't it a good idea to do this earlier? As he said that, Zhao Yanyan turned to look at Lin Yuyu with a questioning look in her eyes, obviously asking Lin Yuyu for instructions on how to deal with these two people. Don't a Euro trademark T kill them for now, just leave them like this. Wonking, if you are inconvenienced, just stay at home. Feng Xiao, please follow me to Zhenlong Hotel. If the information is wrong. Speaking of this, Lin Yuyu said with evil eyes, let these two people know what the consequences of cheating will be. The two weak thugs were frightened. Fortunately, they did not lie just now, otherwise they might be afraid of what will happen next. Eat a Euro trademark S even hard to die? Thinking of the pain that was worse than death just now, the two of them shivered. That red pain, they really never want to try again. Zhao Wangqing had no objections to Lin Yuyu's arrangement. It was really inconvenient for her to move now, and she felt tired when walking. She felt comfortable last night, but feels uncomfortable today, so she can only stay at home. With Zhao Wangqing at home, Lin Yuyu felt relieved. She took Li Fengjiao and others with her, leaving only 10 female soldiers to guard at home, while the remaining more than 100 people rushed to the Zhenlong Hotel in the north. This time I went there, firstly to check the authenticity and copy the opponent's stronghold, and secondly to train troops. Now that these female warriors have seen blood, it's time to change their targets to zombies. This trip is enough to train these new female warriors into qualified warriors. Zhao Yanyan, Li Saiki, you lead the team to kill zombies. I will wait for you in front. Lin Yuyu led the team before rushing out very far when they were blocked by zombies. Lin Yuyu did not escort the girls, but flew directly to the front, leaving the battlefield to Zhao Yanyan and the others. If Lin Yuyu did not leave, the magnetic field would control when the superpower is turned on. It's just random killing. Zhao Yanyan and the others don't get any training. They might as well go to the front and cut off the endless stream of zombies. Without Lin Yuyu, Zhao Yanyan and Li Saiqi have completely let go. They don't know how to organize their troops. But Li Fengjiao and the others have gained considerable experience under Li Wanqing's training. In an instant, more than 100 people arranged their formations in an orderly manner and moved forward like a meat grinder. The initial level of the superpowers is LV1. If you want the superpowers to become stronger, just Zhao Yanyan and the others knew that they needed to use supernatural powers to kill zombies. Looking at the zombies rushing towards them, Zhao Yanyan's eyes were filled with excitement. The energy of the plants in her hands spread, and vines several meters long sprouted from the ground. Get up! These vines are as hard as steel, with barbs hanging on them. They look extremely ferocious. The roots and vines are swung like several hacksaws. The zombies are cut in half. The places where they were cut are gleaming with emerald green light. It moves and sprouts grow quickly. Soon the zombie corpse seems to have been drained of nutrients and turns into a skinny mummy. Compared with Zhao Yanyan, Li Saiqi, the girl next door, is much braver. She steps on the earth. The source of earth-type supernatural energy is endless, and the defense power is skyrocketing. A layer of earth yellow armor is worn on the body, and the defense power is amazing. The Tang Dao in his hand is attached with earth-type supernatural powers. The whole person rushes to the group of corpses like an armored car. Inside, the Tang Dao with earth-type powers was as heavy as a mountain, and the earth yellow armor on his body was equipped with steel spikes. No matter where Li Saiqi rushed, the zombies were knocked away or split in half. Even if those zombies caught Li Saiqi and opened their ferocious giant beaks to bite them, the armor with terrifying defense could break the teeth of the zombies. Wang Ziwen and others who worked hard to kill the zombies looked at Zhao Yanyan with envy. And Li Saiqi, who was rushing to kill among the zombies, coming and going freely, as if they were in a deserted land. At this time, they really hoped that it was them who had divine power. In front of Zhao Yanyan, who had divine power, these zombies were just like ants, they could kill them casually. Trampled a large area to death. Look at Lin Yuyu standing in front of you, a lonely figure standing there, isolated from the world. Within a few hundred meters, not even a single zombie can cross the thunder pool. This kind of power has been called it's amazing. More than 100 people are killing zombies together, plus Lin Yuyu and the three of them. What is the concept? Lin Fan doesn't know and has never seen it, but he knows it now. He is visiting a shopping mall. Lin Fan, who didn't know that a wave of foreign forces had been wiped out in his family, was already confused. He was looking for the things listed on the list, and suddenly a notification sound came out, which shocked him. At first he thought it was normal, but the increase in points was so crazy. 1 second it was more than 1,000, the next second it jumped to 2,000, then 2,005, then 3,000. What kind of speed is this? Even if Lin Fan he had been prepared for a long time, but the points were rising at an astonishing speed. Then the experience points of the three major powers were rising. After turning off the system prompts, Lin Fan shook his head and continued to leisurely shop for goods. That's the best thing about it, you don't have to worry about points, your points will go up just by sitting there, you don't have to earn experience for your own powers. Women are definitely more proactive and enthusiastic than him. Wang Kui did not take everyone away from Zhenlong Hotel. He only took away most of them, and left more than 100 people to guard Zhenlong Hotel. Wang Kui also had enemies, but there was a company in the next street. A force that he was afraid of. If everyone came out, Wang Kui was sure that the woman on the next street would find out and raid his hometown. But he never expected that once he came out, he would never be able to go back. All the men and his subordinates died outside. At this time, the people left behind in Zhenlong Hotel did not know the news that Wang Kui and others had been wiped out. They were still playing with themselves. Some were torturing women, some were playing cards, and some were standing guard, monitoring the people next door. A force composed entirely of women. Next door, the dark fragrance bar. Behind the glass covered by the curtains, a woman looked at the Zhenlong Hotel through the gap. The woman was wearing a black leather coat with 2 daggers on her crotch. Her hot figure was fully exposed. Just looking at her back, she was a stunning beauty. There is also an anti-material sniper rifle beside the woman, which can fight against Wang Kui's forces next door. Without this anti-material sniper rifle, she would have been hung up and beaten long ago. "Jasmine, how's it going?" The room was very dark. There was a young woman leaning on the sofa. She had a graceful figure and a lazy tone. Her beauty was wrapped in black stockings. She held a glass of red wine as bright as blood in her hand. She gently kissed her hand. Shaking, the wine rippled, and it was extremely intoxicating. Jasmine turned around, revealing a moving face, with majestic brows and eyes, a solemn expression, and a kind of aura that would not be outdone by women. "Sister Yan, Wang Kui, and the others haven't come back yet. I don't know what they are doing. They have been out for more than 2 hours. Zhou Ziyan, the proprietress of the dark fragrance bar, has no identity or background. She came to Shanghai 10 years ago with only a few $100, but with her extraordinary skills, she built the dark fragrance bar. Before the apocalypse, Wang Kui tried to get involved many times, but was blocked by Zhou Ziyan. After the apocalypse, conflicts broke out repeatedly. Both parties wanted to destroy the other party, but they were surrounded by wolves. Even if Zhou Ziyan was thinking extraordinary people can only live in this corner of the world. Zhou Ziyan frowned slightly, and she was very upset. Her dark fragrance bar was a piece of cake, and all the surrounding forces wanted to come and get a piece of the pie. It could be said that there was a ring of wolves. Wait, if she makes the slightest mistake, hundreds of sisters under her will fall into the abyss. She drank all the water in the cup. The slender gooseneck was elegant and moving, and her manners were indescribably noble. "Put down the goblet, Zhou Ziyan." After thinking about it for a long time, he suddenly spoke. "Jasmine, do you dare to challenge your sister? Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers." Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 98. Chapter 098, A Desperate Move, Raiding the Zhenlong Hotel. One thought of heaven, the other thought of hell. Zhou Ziyan didn't know what Wang Kui was going to do this time, whether he was trying to trick her into taking the bait. She couldn't wait any longer. This opportunity cannot be missed, time will never come again. Zhou Ziyan can't wait any longer. The Zy Shengmeng Death nightclub was swept by some unknown force, which relieved some of her pressure. Wang Kui took someone out for a long time and did not return. This is an opportunity. Best opportunity. If she didn't take this opportunity to raid Wang Kui's hometown, she might never have the means to break the situation. Even if it was a trap this time, she had to step into it. Otherwise, she and the women under her might starve to death. Lu Jinbao in the east, Wang Kui in the south, the Zhao brothers in the north, and Lu Zihan in the west. The 4 major forces were like 4 mountains, trapping her in this narrow street and unable to move at all. How many places to eat on one street? After more than a month, hundreds of women almost finished the food. Although Lu Jinbao in the east was destroyed by unknown forces, this does not mean that there is no danger. The other party quietly killed Lu Jinbao, killing everyone from top to bottom, which meant that the other party was absolutely capable of destroying Angxiang. Zhou Ziyan did not want to sit still and wait for death, she had to take action. At least Wang Kui couldn't threaten her, and there was enough food to give her a chance to breathe. Otherwise, when the last food in the bar was eaten, she would completely lose her ability to fight. Hearing the determination in Zhou Ziyuan's tone, Jasmine was slightly startled, and a firm look flashed in her beautiful eyes. Sister Yan, you saved Jasmine a Euro trademark's life. If it weren't a Euro trademark T for you, Jasmine would probably have died long ago. So what if you try hard? Just think of it as a break with a high. Jasmine was originally an ordinary girl, but she was locked up on a dead end. Her parents were brutally murdered by Wang Kui's men. The one who did it was Ahai. If she hadn't been rescued by Zhou Ziyuan in the desperate situation, Jasmine might have died long ago. For in order to take revenge, Jasmine trained herself crazily and became a killer. Jasmine was extremely talented and seemed to be born to be a killer. In just 3 or 4 years, she became a top killer. Jasmine is accomplished in her studies. She wanted to kill Wang Kui to avenge her parents, but unfortunately the defense around Wang Kui was too good, and there was a top-notch killer like Ahai. She had no chance to kill Wang Kui, and her many attempts failed. Ahai is too strong, but there are too many killers around Wang Kui. Several of them are against her. No matter how talented she is, it has no effect. She still seems to be helpless and is in danger many times. I thought that when the end is coming, her chance will be more, but she didn't expect that Wang Kui's power would become stronger. Let alone revenge, she and Zhou Ziyuan were treated as trapped animals, with no chance of revenge. Now Zhou Ziyuan wants to fight to the death, and she has no reason to back down. Success or failure depends on this. The two of them made a decision and quickly came downstairs without staying in the room for long. Jasmine notified everyone, and soon hundreds of women gathered in the bar hall. Among these women a large part of them are the waiters and waitresses in the bar, and some are the survivors rescued by Zhou Ziyuan. In the apocalypse, Zhou Ziyuan saw the terror of men, and her approach was similar to Lin Fan. The men either ignored them or killed them all. Brought back all the remaining women. The women quickly gathered together. Zhou Ziyuan Euro trademark's idea is that women should be self-reliant even if they don't a Euro trademark T rely on men. Basically, all the women in the dark fragrance bar are not weak, and they all hold knives. The courage of women who have killed zombies is not bad at all. Zhou Ziyuan's reputation is very high. Even though she knew that the result of this all-out attack was likely to be the annihilation of the entire army, none of the women flinched. Dark fragrance bar, all women know the predicament they encounter, and they also know what the consequences will be if they fall into the hands of those men. No woman wants to be like that. If they had not met Zhou Ziyuan, maybe they would have succumbed, but after long-term hearing it can be seen that in the atmosphere of the dark-scented bar, all the women are united. Those who are close to the red are red and those who are close to the ink are black. This is the truth. With one call and 100 responses, all the women are ready to burn the boat, and Zhou Ziyuan is no longer there, he said, nodding to Jasmine next to him. Jasmine understood, put the sniper rifle behind her back, and then took out the pistol from her waist. Everyone, grab your weapons and follow me. Zhou Ziyuan took out her pistol and walked out of the bar first. Some women took guns and some took knives, following closely behind. It can be seen that these women's equipment is very poor. They don't even have a long gun. There are only a few dozen pistols, which is incomparable with Wang Kui's side. The reason why Zhou Ziyuan was able to survive in the cracks is because both Wang Kui and Lu Jinbei wanted to directly annex Zhou Ziyuan's power. Women in it is also of great value in the Doomsday. Whether it is given as a gift or as a reward to his subordinates, it is a good choice. If not, Wang Kui or Lu Jinbei would have chosen to capture the dark fragrance bar. Walking out of the bar, on the street it was desolate, with blood everywhere but not many corpses, not even zombies. It was not originally like this, the streets were full of zombies, but under the leadership of Zhou Ziyuan, all the zombies were cleaned up, and even seal both sides of the street with obstacles. This can effectively prevent zombies from flooding here. There are endless zombies to kill. Jo Xiuyan understands this very well. At the same time, this also avoids many unnecessary dangers. Under the leadership of Jo Xiuyan, hundreds of women armed with knives and pistols quickly left the bar, went straight to a sewer pipe, removed the cover of the sewer pipe. Jo Xiuyan took the lead and jumped in. This is what Jo Xiuyan and Jasmine discovered. There is a secret passage that can lead directly to the back of Zhenlong Hotel. This passage has not been used since the day it was discovered. In order to be secretive enough and achieve the goal of killing with one strike. Now, Jo Xiuyan has made up her mind to succeed or fail. Here we do it. Behind the Zhenlong Hotel, a sewer pipe was pushed open, and Jo Xiuyan came out immediately, followed by Jasmine. Since there were buildings blocking the area, there were no zombies here. Jasmine walked a few steps quickly and took out a special glass knife was used to cut a hole in the window. After opening the window from the inside, a group of people quickly climbed through the window and entered. Several hundred people sneaked into the Zhenlong Hotel quietly. Jo Xiuyan and Jasmine separated, each carrying the team members rushed to different floors. At this time, the thugs staying in the Zhenlong Hotel did not know that hundreds of murderous women had quietly walked in downstairs. There was no one below the 6th floor of the Zhenlong Hotel. Jo Xiuyan and Jasmine led the people to the 6th floor effortlessly, and stood in the stairwell. Before they walked out, Jasmine heard the sound in the corridor, and took a quick look, and had a panoramic view of the situation in the corridor. Jasmine put away the pistol, and then a dagger appeared in her hand. The figure quickly flashed out of the stairwell, and the two men were talking face to face, with obscene laughter coming from time to time. Jasmine moved quickly, and with the help of her strength, with the grasp of his sight, he nimbly came up behind a man and quickly swiped the dagger in his hand. At this moment, the man who noticed Jasmine's figure was too late to speak again. There was a ho-ho sound in his mouth, and his neck was scratched. Unable to make any decent sound, Jasmine pulled at the two men who were about to fall and were unable to fall to the ground. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jasmine took out a pistol and pointed it at the few men on the roof. The camera clicked several shots in succession. With the help of the silencer, the sound of the gunfire was very small, destroying the camera. Jasmine breathed a sigh of relief, lowered the two bodies to the ground, and then waved to the stairs, and soon a group of the women rushed out. The women quickly came to the door of each room, and then knocked on the door together. Following the questions coming from inside, the women pretended to be wild and said something, and soon the door was opened. The thugs, who thought it would be a friendly exercise, opened the door with smiles on their faces, but what they greeted were sharp steel knives. Not all rooms were occupied, and not all the rooms were men. After quickly taking the 6th floor, Jasmine left a few women to guard the 6th floor while she led the rest of the people to rush to higher floors. The situation on Jo Xiuyan's side was similar. The two had been planning for a long time and the plan was progressing smoothly. However, no matter how careful the plan was, there would be mistakes. After clearing 11 floors in a row, something went wrong on the 18th floor. As soon as she climbed onto the 18th floor and before she even walked out of the stairwell, Jasmine felt a sense of crisis coming over her. This crisis was extremely strong. Jasmine's heart contracted violently, and her figure instantly rolled to the side. Get out of the way. Jasmine's warning was already very fast, but the women's reaction was a beat slower. At this slow moment, dense bullets were fired from outside the stairwell, exploding on the women standing at the front. Dense blood sprayed, and the woman behind screamed and backed away. On the 17th floor, hearing the gunshots upstairs, Jo Xiuyan realized that something was wrong. Soon, the doors of many guest rooms on the 17th floor opened, and 7 or 8 men with guns opened. There was a burst of shooting at the door, and several women standing at the door were shot and killed by the dense bullets. The situation changed drastically, Jo Xiaoyun's expression changed drastically, but she had already expected the situation, and quickly made a gesture to tell her. The women nodded when they saw it. Since their whereabouts have been exposed, let's attack directly. They killed a lot of thugs along the way and obtained a lot of firearms. If they didn't want to alert the snake too early, they would have broken in directly and opened the door. The guns were fired. The women who received the instructions no longer hesitated, turned sideways into the room and started suppressing fire, preparing for a quick victory. The resistance on the 17th floor was not strong, and soon all the thugs were killed. Jo Xiaoyun knew that there was no time to feel sad about the dead women. The most important thing now was to deal with all the remaining floors. Otherwise, the people upstairs would inform Wang Kui that there would be a pincer attack from above and below, and this operation would be complete. Failed. They met Jasmine in the stairwell on the 17th floor. Both women looked a little solemn, obviously knowing the seriousness of the matter. Sister Yan, what should I do? Do you want to implement the second plan? I can. Jo Xiaoyun looked moved and looked at Jasmine, who was right in front of her. To be honest, she didn't want to use the second plan, but her reason told her that the second plan was the safest, but that would be too dangerous for Jasmine. Yes. As if she knew what Jo Xiaoyun was thinking, Jasmine felt warm in her heart, took Jo Xiaoyun's hand and said, Sister Yan, don't worry, it's okay. Believe me. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 99. Chapter 099. A woman like a Valkyrie, Lin Yuya was surprised. Brother Bao, those women are all huddled on the 17th floor. What should we do now? Do you want to call Big Brother? In the corridor on the 18th floor, Lu Bao was sitting on a chair with a golden sword. Next to him, a younger brother bent down and asked carefully. Lu Bao is Wang Kui's right-hand man. It can be said that he is the second in command. Leaving Lu Bao behind this time was enough to prove that Wang Kui valued him. Lu Bao was strong and had a fierce expression. Under his open collar, you could see dense scars, which was particularly terrifying. He glared at Wang Kui fiercely. The younger brother next to him, Lu Bao, snorted coldly. What about the people who are watching in the monitoring room who are not successful enough but are prone to failure? The watchers across from me only found out after they reached the 17th floor. Are they all eating shit? Lu Bao's yelling and cursing made the thugs in the corridor feel fearful. Some of them even put their heads in their crotches. They were the ones on duty in the monitoring room, but they were playing poker at the time and did not watch the monitoring at all. Screen, when they thought about it, who could rush to the hotel when there were people on the roof watching? By the time they noticed, it was already too late. If they hadn't reported it in time, the 18th floor would have been wiped out. Such a huge loss, they have already thought about what kind of severe punishment they will receive. Snort. A bunch of trash. Lu Bao was angry in his heart, but now is not the time for punishment. The boss Wang Kui has not returned. It is not a wise choice to punish his subordinates now. The top priority is to deal with the women downstairs first. Thinking of this, Lu Bao's eyes flashed with ruthlessness, and he wanted to, unless his subordinates reported it, he would never have imagined that the women he usually looked down upon would have the guts to make a sneak attack. Dozens of brothers died tragically due to carelessness, which was undoubtedly a hard slap on his face. Since those women want to die, let them do it today. Cheer up for me, come and prepare a team of people, rush down with me, and give them a pincer attack. Lu Bao gave the order, and more than a dozen boys immediately threw the ropes they had prepared from the window. Lu Bao put on his rappelling equipment, picked up a microram and rushed down from the window on the 18th floor. Counting Lu Bao including Lu Bao, 15 people jumped down with submachine guns. Bullets were fired, and the windows on the 16th floor were broken one after another. 15 people filed out. Lu Bao rushed in front, spitting flames from the submachine gun in his hand, and the women who were staying on the 16th floor were hit one after another. The gun fell to the ground. Whether it was the woman from the dark fragrance bar or the original woman from the Zhenlong Hotel, Lu Bao spared no one. He was extremely ruthless and did not give the women a chance to speak. Even with the same weapon, there is no difference between a veteran who has been fighting for a long time and a rookie who just picked up a gun. Lu Bao led his men to sweep across the 16th floor, leaving no one alive. The most serious one on Lu Bao's side was only slightly injured, and he attacked the women on the 16th floor in a surprise attack. Caught off guard, there is no decent resistance. The 5 of you go to the stairs to guard, and no one who comes up will be spared. Pointing at 5 of them casually, Lu Bao waved his hand to the remaining 9 people and shouted, "You guys, come with me, notify the brothers upstairs, and put pressure on the 17th floor." At this point, Lu Bao waved his hand fiercely and shouted, "Today I will let those cousins a euro know that fighting is a man's business, and it is better for women to be obedient slaves." On the 17th floor, the intensive gunfire coming from downstairs made Zhou Ziyuan's face change slightly. No one answered the call. Zhou Ziyuan's heart sank. She knew that the 16th floor had been lost, and the opponent's counterattack came too fast. "You guys, guard the stair door on the 17th floor and don't a euro trademark T let anyone in." Zhou Ziyuan has no choice. Now she is on the verge of death. The women under her command rarely play with guns. There are not many women who like this thing. Fighting with Wang Kui's men is basically just delivering food. They can only defend conservatively. She can only place her hope on Jasmine now. If Jasmine can break through the 18th floor, then everything will be easy. If not, the hope of today's sneak attack is already slim. At the door of the stairwell, Jasmine tapped her toes, her body light. Ruo Hungmao, like a nimble kitten, made almost no sound wherever he passed. He moved his hands behind his back, and 2 pistols appeared in his hands. Taking a deep breath, Jasmine rushed out of the stairwell. Jasmine's figure extremely fast, with her concentration to the extreme, the subsequent raid was a near-death experience. If she was careless, the only result would be to be shot to death randomly. Her long-trained body was dexterous and strong, and her speed was astonishing, like a strong and powerful bird. The black female leopard rushed into the corridor. Several thugs guarding the entrance of the stairs felt their eyes blurred and did not realize what was going on. Continuous gunshots came and several thugs guarding the door were shot in the heart. He died on the ground. The sudden gunfire alarmed many thugs on the 18th floor. Seeing several brothers fall and Jasmine suddenly appeared, they all raised their guns and pulled the trigger without any hesitation. At this moment, Jasmine's pupils shrank to the extreme. At this moment, everyone's movements seemed to be infinitely slowed down in Jasmine's eyes. She couldn't dodge the bullets, but with her extraordinary physical fitness, she could dodge the movements of those thugs. She did dodge. She doesn't fire bullets, but she just needs to dodge the movement speed of those people. Choo 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 choo. Dense bullets spurted out from the muzzle of the microblast gun. Jasmine jumped up on the spot, her crotch hitting the wall, as if she was walking on the wall. The dense rain of bullets whizzed past, but none of them fell on Jasmine. Bang bang bang. The 2 guns in her hands sprayed flames, and several thugs at the front fell down one after another. After doing this, Jasmine was not at all proud, but her expression was solemn. Without stopping at all, her figure somersaulted to the ground, and she slapped the ground with one hand. The figure suddenly rotated, and just after her figure turned sideways, a large number of bullets hit the ground, making dents one after another. As long as she was delayed for a few tenths of a second, she would be beaten into a hornet's nest by the dense bullets. This is the so-called second plan. Dancing on the tip of a knife, if you are not careful, you will only end up dead. Bang bang bang. Jasmine is fighting back. In fact, the situation in the corridor is favorable to her. She only needs to face a few enemies at a time. If it is an open area and faced with the shooting of dozens of thugs, she will only die. Is she a human? God, no matter how concentrated your mental power is, you can't pay attention to too many enemies. In this case, if you fail, you will die. The thugs fell down one by one. Jasmine looked slightly pale. The high-intensity exercise was too exhausting. This was because she had been exercising for so many years. Otherwise, she would have been unable to hold on. All the moves she did were difficult. In addition, the concentration is very high and it consumes a lot of energy. And this situation was seen by the thugs, and the original fear was swept away. Brothers, she can't hold it anymore. Don't be afraid. Kill her together. A loud shout instantly boosted morale. Some of the thugs who were trying to retreat just now roared and pulled the trigger. This situation undoubtedly made things worse for Jasmine. There was no chance to breathe at all. Jasmine didn't even dare to take a moment. Stay, move your feet quickly, keep dodging the hail of bullets from the thugs, and keep fighting back. You can't stop. If you stop, you will die. There is only one way to go now, wipe out the opponent. Or be killed by the opponent kill. On the street outside the Zhenlong Hotel, the zombies roared, as if they were attracted by something. They gave up on the Zhenlong Hotel in front of them, turned around and rushed towards the end of the street like a tide. At the end of the street, a large number of zombies fell down. A tall and slender figure faced thousands of zombies alone. Dozens and hundreds of silver lights flashed in the air, and all the zombies that tried to get close were dismembered. It's strange to say that it's been more than a month since the end of the world, and these zombies don't have the shriveled, skinny appearance in the movie. Instead, they have full muscles, as if the cells and even all the functions in the body are still functioning, except for behaving like zombies. If you don't a Euro trademark T look at your head, you can't a Euro trademark T see anything different from humans. Lin Yu didn't have the time to pay attention to this. To her, these zombies were enemies and tools used to improve their abilities. She didn't need to think about why these zombies were no different from normal people. She just had to kill all the zombies that were blocking her way. Just die. Behind her, Zhao Yanyan and Li Saiqi walked in the front, while Li Fengjiao and others stood in the second echelon, killing zombies without any slowness. Along the way, countless zombies fell to the swords of the women. If Zhao Yanyan and the others hadn't opened the way, and if Tang Dao hadn't fed back some of its energy after killing the zombies, more than 100 women would have been drowned by the sea of a euro corpses long ago, even if they were fully armed. The terror of zombies lies in their numbers. No matter how strong a person is, he cannot resist thousands of zombies. But with the superpowers and Tang Dao given by Lin Fan, and with constant recovery and replenishment, all this has never been impossible and has become possible. Even as more zombies are killed, the women become stronger and stronger. Not only am I not tired, but I am more energetic. In addition to Li Fengqiao, Su Yan, and Zhu Fangfang, the remaining 13 female warriors also successfully broke through and developed qi in their bodies, taking their strength to the next level. The best performing women such as Wang Ziwen and Lu Yu have also made great progress in strength. If they were still afraid of zombies before, now they have completely ignored the horror of zombies, and even in their eyes, zombies are experience babies. The feeling of feeling stronger just by killing a zombie is really awesome. It feels like they are playing a game. Zombies are monsters. They can gain experience by killing one. If it weren't for the experience prompts, they would have thought this was a real person online game. Perhaps the only difference is that this online game is very real. If you die once, you are completely dead, with no chance of resurrection. Their strength has grown steadily, and all the female warriors are extremely happy at this moment. Their choice is right. If they miss this opportunity, they will definitely regret it for the rest of their lives. Zhenlong Hotel was already in sight. Lin Yu's senses were sharp. She looked up at the height of the 17th and 18th floors. She felt the presence of many people, and it seemed that not only one party, but two parties were fighting. Among her inductions, the battle on the 18th floor was the most intense. The information fed back by the magnetic field was that a woman was fighting alone against dozens of men with guns. She felt the battle on the 18th floor through the magnetic field. A flash of surprise flashed in Lin Yu's plain eyes. Ran color. Ever since she gained the power of the magnetic field, few things could move Lin Yu, but what happened on the 18th floor was enough to cause ripples in her calm heart. The performance of the woman on the 18th floor was really great. She was obviously just an ordinary person, but the fighting power she displayed was enough to make her look sideways. If it were Li Fengjiao and the others, Lin Yu would not be surprised at all. In the perception, the woman's movements became slower and slower, and her breath became heavier and heavier. Lin Yu thought for a moment, no longer paying attention to the many zombies in front of her, and rose into the air, heading straight to the 18th floor of Zhenlong Hotel. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 100. Chapter 100. You are very good. From today on, you are the Lord. A Euro trademark S made. Bang bang bang. The sound of pistols echoed, and Jasmine turned over, half kneeling on the ground. In the distant corridor, several thugs staggered and fell. Hucky hucky. Panting heavily, a look of pain flashed in Jasmine's eyes. There was a clear bullet hole on her right thigh where she was half kneeling, and traces of blood dripped down her leather pants to the ground. She's hurt. After holding on for so long, she was finally injured. There were really too many enemies. The corridor was filled with the corpses of thugs, 20 or 30 of them. These thugs were either shot in the head or in the heart. All were killed with a gun. This was what Jasmine had trained for many years. As a result, just as Zhou Ziyan praised her, she was born to be a killer and a gun. But no matter how powerful she is still just a mortal with limited physical strength. After killing so many thugs, she has almost reached her limit. This record can scare countless people to death. This is all thanks to the corridor. In an open and empty place, she would have died a long time ago, but now she can't hold on any longer. The heavy physical exertion and the fact that Daxi was shot all declare the failure of her raid. She was ready to die. Looking at the thugs in the distance, the light in Jasmine's eyes dimmed. The worst thing was not that she was injured, but that the gun in her hand was out of bullets. The two pistols had a total of 8 magazines, all of which were empty. She doesn't have a lot of bullets, but there are too many enemies. Jasmine's embarrassment has been discovered by the thugs who are still alive. The blood on the ground and the empty pistol are all too obvious. Everything before was like a nightmare. None of the dozens of them could take down this devil-like woman in front of them. She could always dodge the bullets just right, and then use the pistol in her hand to kill the brothers around her. The thugs were all frightened. Now, looking at Jasmine, who is half kneeling on the ground with a painful look on her face, the fear in the eyes of the thugs has dissipated. It is human nature to bully the weak and fear the strong. In the eyes of the thugs, Jasmine is no longer a threat at this time. Thinking about how many brothers she had killed, a strong anger rose in her heart. They want to vent. To vent the psychological shadow that Jasmine brought to them, to vent that fear, and the Jasmine in front of them is the best target. They want to torture severely. Only in this way can their fearful hearts be calmed. Otherwise, they may live in the shadows their entire lives. The best way to eliminate fear is to face it head on and then eliminate it in the most cruel way. Looking at Jasmine, who was half kneeling on the ground with a pained expression, Zhang Peng walked out with Weikong in his hand. He was almost scared to death just now. The brothers in front of him fell down one after another. The woman in front of him was like a harvester. The god of death, he thought he was going to die too, but unexpectedly, the woman in front of him was injured. The gun in your hand is out of bullets. It's like a tiger without its claws and fangs, and even its tail. Is there anything to be afraid of in such a tiger? Thinking about being so frightened by such a woman that he almost peed his pants, Zhang Peng felt as if his face was on fire. But now, this woman has no power to resist. He wants to inflict all the fear he has endured during this period on this woman 1,000 times. It was not just Zhang Peng who came out, but also several other petty bosses. At this time, several of them had evil smiles on their faces, as if they were imagining ways to torture the woman in front of them. Brothers, this woman has no power to resist. What do you think we should do to control her? Zhang Peng's eyes flashed with silver light. If nothing else, the woman in front of him is really the best. No matter her face or figure, especially wearing a tight leather jacket, she is even more sexy. The little boss next to him chuckled, of course, have fun first, and then kill. Revenge your brothers. Can you do it? Is it necessary to kill? Brother, I can make her die hundreds of times, the other little boss said, and he shook his crotch. The meaning is self-evident. Zhang Peng's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he snorted, killing her is simply too easy for her. It's easy to die. How many times? 10 brothers are enough for her to die. Only in this way can we comfort the spirits of our brothers in heaven. Looking at Zhang Peng and others approaching, especially listening to those dirty words, Jasmine gritted her teeth with hatred, but she did not act rashly. The gun in her hand had no bullets, but it did not mean that she had no power to resist. Behind her there are 2 daggers on her waist. Not only guns, daggers are also her strong point. As long as these men dare to come over, she will definitely let them know what the consequences will be if they fail to deal with her from a distance. Jasmine's heart, it was a good idea, but Zhang Peng was not a fool. He raised his hand slightly, and the few bosses next to him were startled. Zhang Peng, don't a Euro trademark T mess around. Brothers haven't played yet, what are you doing? Zhang Peng smiled sinisterly, don't underestimate this woman. What if the boat capsizes in the gutter? Let a Euro trademark S cripple her arm first, then why can't a Euro trademark T she play with it? Hearing this, several small bosses nodded repeatedly. Looking at the muzzle of Zhang Peng's raised gun, Jasmine felt desperate. She didn't expect that the man in front of her at this time, before he was blinded by beauty, would have such a scheming mind. Thinking of being insulted next, Jasmine secretly hated her heart. She quickly moved her hands, and a dagger appeared in her hand. She flipped it back and was about to commit suicide. She didn't want to live to bear the insult, so she had no choice but to die. This may be what she did for herself. Save the last bit of dignity. Seeing the sudden increase in daggers in Jasmine's hand, several of the bosses, including Zhang Peng, felt cold, especially Zhang Peng. Fortunately, he was smart, otherwise he might have fallen into the hands of this woman in the past. Eat a Euro trademark S in. Seeing Jasmine about to commit suicide, Zhang Peng was angry. I haven't a Euro trademark T played yet. You want to commit suicide? If you commit suicide, what else will I play? Thinking like this, Zhang Peng couldn't a Euro trademark T care about anything else. His finger quickly pulled the trigger. Chu-chu-chu. Flames spurted out from the muzzle of the gun, and a few bullets pierced the air. Jasmine smiled slightly. Shooting at this time would not be able to stop her, but she had not waited for the dagger. Putting it on her neck, she suddenly found that she couldn't move it. This situation made Jasmine's heart skip a beat. If she couldn't commit suicide, Wouldn't she have to live a life worse than death? Thinking of this, Jasmine tried hard to move her arm, but found that she couldn't move it. Unable to move, Jasmine panicked. This situation was too weird. She tried to commit suicide but failed. She could no longer imagine what would happen next, but where are the bullets? No matter how inaccurate the opponent's marksmanship is, at such a close range, it won't be a missed shot, right? Jasmine originally closed her eyes and planned to endure the insult, but the bullet didn't hit her body for a long time. This situation made Jasmine couldn't help but open her eyes, and then she froze. Looking at the bullets stopped not far in front of them, Jasmine was dumbfounded. She almost thought she was hallucinating. How could the bullets stop in mid-air? With such good skills, wouldn't it be a pity to commit suicide? Just when Jasmine was confused, a cold voice came. Jasmine followed the sound and saw a figure slowly walked out of a certain room. He was tall, with long hair like a waterfall, cold eyes, and a delicate and elegant face. The aura of the superior person is condensed and never disperses. What a beautiful, noble woman! Jasmine was surprised, but it soon turned into doubts. How did such a beautiful and elegant woman walk out of that room? Wang Kui's power did not treat women as human beings, they were all playthings. How could such a beautiful and elegant woman still have such an elegant temperament? If this noble woman were here with Wang Kui, she would have been disabled long ago, right? Jasmine doesn't a Euro trademark T understand. Who are you? Wang Peng and others in the corridor as well as other thugs looked at Lin Yuyu who came out with vigilance. In Zhang Peng's memory, the woman in front of him was not in Zhenlong Hotel. Where did this woman come from? Lin Yuyu said calmly. He glanced at Zhang Peng and asked, "Are you Wang Kui's people?" Zhang Peng was stunned. For a moment, he was a little unsure of Lin Yuyu's identity. Zhang Peng was calling their boss by his first name. This woman seemed to be very noble. What was this woman's identity? He couldn't figure it out. And Zhang Peng couldn't figure it out either. Don't dare to offend. If you accidentally offend someone you shouldn't, Wang Kui will kill him in minutes. For it, yes, Wang Kui is my eldest brother. Who are you? Yes, the Euro trademark it. Lin Yuyu nodded, took out her cell phone and dialed, "We're already here." Those two people didn't lie. Let's kill them. Zhang Peng was stunned. What do you mean? What's not lying? Who to kill? His doubts are destined to be unexplained. Lin Yuyu waved his hand casually, and several bullets flew back. Under Lin Yuyu's control, the bullets were like as if he had eyes. He blasted Lieutenant Zhang Peng and others in the head with a muffled puff sound, and even flew upside down, spinning around and blowing the heads off all the remaining thugs. Watching the remaining dozens of thugs stagger and fall next, Jasmine was stunned. What are you doing? What is this thing? Why does it feel like watching a science fiction movie? Do you think you are the heroine from the League of Assassins? With a flick of your hand, the bullets circled around and hit several heads. Flying back, Jasmine felt that her brain was turning to mush. How could everything that happened before her eyes feel like a dream? Nothing was real. If the pain in her thighs hadn't told her that this was not a dream, she would have doubted it. Are you still awake today? After dealing with the remaining thugs, Lin Yuyu walked up to Jasmine and then held out her hand. You are very good. From today on, you are the maid of the Lord. I wanted to hold Lin Yuyu's hand and stand up, but when I heard this unexpectedly, Jasmine was stunned on the spot. What do you mean? I am so good that I want to become the maid of the master? I thank you so much. Although she didn't a Euro trademark T understand, but Jasmine still understood the meaning of people under the roof. The shock caused by Lin Yuyu's Euro trademark S behavior just now still remained in her heart. With Lin Yuyu's Euro trademark S strength, she stood up. Jasmine wanted to ask something, but she found the woman in front of her. walked back to the room. Confused, Jasmine followed, only to find Lin Yuyu standing next to the window. Look outside, I believe you will be stronger than them in the future. Your talents should not be buried. Hearing this, Jasmine curiously walked to the window. She was not afraid of Lin Yuyu pushing her down. She believed that Lin Yuyu wouldn't, otherwise she wouldn't be the only one. Standing by the window and looking at the street on the ground, Jasmine's eyes, she opened her eyes wide and looked at the women who were killing the zombies. She was a little unable to recover. How can this be?